There is abundance everywhere. It flows, circulates, moves like an invisible river that never stops. But there is something unsettling. Not everyone drinks from that river. For many, it comes to them and slips through their fingers as if they were trying to hold water with open hands. They earn, but they don't keep it. They receive, but they don't hold on. And this is where an uncomfortable, almost forgotten truth appears. One of those that aren't taught, that aren't said out loud, but have always been there. There is a leak, a silent drain, an invisible hole in the human energy reserve. And that hole isn't financial, it's energetic. It's called loss of sexual energy. It's not a metaphor, it's an unwritten law that ancient traditions understood perfectly. But today, it has been ignored, ridiculed, or worse, even exploited. In this video, you're going to see something that once you truly understand it, you won't be able to unsee. The direct, deep, almost sacred connection between your sexual energy and your ability to generate, attract, and hold on to money. Because both are not separate things, they are manifestations of the same force, the same energy, expressing itself on two different planes. And when that energy is aligned, when it stops scattering, when it stops leaking through unconscious impulses, something aligns, paths open up, and what was once unstable becomes stable. And what once seemed like luck starts to seem like law. If you understand this and apply what I'm going to show you, you're not just improving your finances, you're reorganizing your entire energetic system, and that changes absolutely everything. Now observe, there is a pattern that repeats in everyone without exception. The way a human being relates to money is almost identical to how they relate to sex. Both territories are surrounded by silence, by secrecy, by a kind of unspoken modesty. Ask someone how much money they have and you'll feel the tension in the air. You don't get an answer. Or it comes disguised, or the question gets dodged. Because money, it isn't shown, it's protected, it's hidden, as if exposing it made it lose some of its power. And nobody knows exactly why, but everyone feels it. It's an ancient code, a tacit agreement that no one signed, but everyone respects. Even today, when apparently everything is on display, when someone talks about money without a filter, there's something uncomfortable, something that just doesn't quite fit, a subtle feeling that an invisible line is being crossed. It's exactly the same with sex. It's not put on display, not described in detail, not talked about in everyday life. It remains intimate, hidden, not because it's dirty, but because it's powerful. Too powerful to treat it like anything else. And this is where the pattern starts to reveal itself. Everything that human beings hide is not always out of shame. Sometimes it's because, on some deep level, they know they're touching something sacred, something that, if misused, has consequences. Because both money and sexual energy share an essential quality. They create. Sexual energy creates life. Not symbolically, literally. It is the origin of biological existence, the point where the invisible becomes flesh. Without it, there is no continuity, there is no humanity. Everything you see, absolutely everything, started there. And money on another level does the same thing. It materializes, it builds, it organizes external reality, cities, systems, structures. Money is energy converted into form. But here's the other side, the one few want to look at. Both energies not only create, they also destroy when they are distorted, when they are used without awareness, when they are left to impulse rather than intention. They become chaotic. Entire civilizations have fallen due to the degeneration of sexual energy, and others because of the corruption of money, excess, lack of control, dependence. The same energy losing direction. And our generation is living with the consequences of a great illusion, or a promise that seemed logical, but it was incomplete. More money will set you free. More sex will make you happy. So both things were pursued intensely, hungrily, without questioning. Money without purpose, pleasure without direction. The result? Emptiness, a strange emptiness, because it comes with constant stimulation. People with access to everything, but with no desire for anything, no inner fire, no direction, anxiety, disconnection. Because when energy is scattered, identity becomes fragmented. And neither of those two pursuits on their own can sustain a human being from within. And this is where everything fits together. A couples therapist, after years of working with thousands of couples, summed it up in an almost unsettling way. He told me 75% of couples believe that their problem is something superficial. They argue about small things, the house, tidiness, everyday details. But that's just the surface. When you dig deeper, when you get past the excuses, when you reach the core, the same two forces always show up. Always. Intimacy and money. The two energies that the world treats as separate, but in reality they come from the same root. When intimacy fails in a relationship, nobody talks about it. They fight about anything else, about what's visible, about what's superficial. The same thing happens with money. When your finances are in bad shape, it's not said directly. People argue over silly things, over details, over things that deep down aren't the real problem, because accepting the truth is hard. It's hard to say, our intimate life isn't going well. It's hard to admit. It hurts me how we handle money, or I don't have what I feel I should have. That touches the ego, identity, the feeling of self-worth, and since it hurts, it's avoided. So the mind does what it does best, disguises the conflict. It makes up excuses. It clings to small things to avoid looking at what's important. But the root is always there, silent, waiting. Now the key question is, why do these two areas have so much power over us? Because we're not talking about just any topics. We're talking about two of the greatest forces that drive human beings. Primitive, ancient forces programmed deep within our biology, and also, according to the oldest traditions, deep within our spiritual structure. There is a very ancient teaching that speaks about this directly. They call it the 3 MMs. 3 impulses that, when not controlled, control the human being: sex, money, and food. In Hebrew, min, maimon, and mazon. 3 words, 3 forces, the same root. Survival, eating, reproduction, sustaining oneself. Without that, there is no life, there is no continuity, there is no civilization. That's why their power is so great. Because they are not simple desires, they are engines of existence. But here's the critical point. What gives you life can also take away your control. Food, when taken to excess, enslaves. Money, when it is distorted, corrupts. Sex, when it is scattered, weakens. Same energy without direction. That's why it's not about repressing. It's about channeling, about understanding how to use these forces to build, not to destroy yourself from within. And this is where we enter deeper territory. Because this isn't just psychology. This is about our energy structure. Ancient traditions explained it with maps, with codes, with systems that may sound distant today, but they describe something very real. One of those systems is Kabbalah. And within that knowledge, there's a key concept to understand all of this. Yesod, the foundation. It's not an abstract idea. It's a central piece within the tree of life, one of the 10 Sephirot. To simplify it, imagine a structure in 2 parts. Above, 9 levels of energy. Below, only 1. Malkut. Malkut is the result, the manifestation, what is seen, the kingdom, your reality. Everything above exists for one purpose, to feed that, like a system that channels energy downward. Now that energy doesn't go down directly. It passes through a key point, a channel, a filter, a hub. That point is Yesod, the foundation. Like the foundations of a building, all the weight passes through there. All the abundance, all the flow, all the energy that is going to manifest is organized at that point before descending. In the tradition, that flow is called Shefa, the abundance that descends. And this is where everything connects in an almost unsettling way, because Yesod is not just a spiritual concept. It also has a direct equivalent in the human body, the reproductive organ. That's where the energy condenses, where it is activated. It is where it can either create life or dissipate. That's why it's also called Brit, the covenant, because it's a point of responsibility, of alignment. It's not just biology, it's an energy portal. Even in the Hebrew language, there's a clear clue. When there's an erection, it's called Avar Hai, living member alive. It's not a coincidence. Because in that state, the energy is active, concentrated, ready to create. Now understand this. If the channel through which abundance flows is weakened, if it is constantly dispersed, if it loses strength, what do you think happens to what reaches the bottom? It gets cut off, it leaks out, it gets lost. And then the person asks themselves, why can't I manage to hold on to money? Without realizing that the problem isn't just financial, it's in the channel. In how they're managing their most fundamental energy. So here's the key. Yesod is where the flow is concentrated, the Shefa, the abundance that descends. And that abundance is not just money, it's everything. Vitality, opportunities, clarity, and yes, also financial blessing. But at the same time, that same area represents sexual energy, two sides of the same current. That's why within this structure, they're not separated, they're connected from the root. Now imagine this, while the channels are clean, while the flow goes down uninterrupted, the energy circulates, it reaches its destination, it manifests. And most importantly, the system keeps receiving more because what flows renews itself. But if at that key point at Yesod something gets distorted, everything changes. If the channel stops being a bridge and becomes a consumer, the balance is broken. When that energy, instead of moving toward its purpose, it's used only for immediate pleasure, when it's scattered, when it's spilled without direction, you're not actually enjoying more. It's cutting off the flow. Yes, everyone knows what we're talking about. Taking all that accumulated energy, all that capacity to create, and spending it on momentary impulses. It's like opening a hole in the system. In the tradition, this is called Pijam Habrit, damage to the pact. The channel gets weaker, it gets perforated, and what should reach below doesn't arrive, it's lost, it disperses in 1,000 directions without impact, without building anything. And here comes something even stronger, that energy that was meant to create life. When it falls, it loses its nature. It becomes heavy. What was life turns into depletion, fatigue, mental fog, lack of direction, people who feel they have no energy, who feel shut down, who don't know why they're not moving forward. Many times it's not a lack of ability. It's energy leakage, it's constant drain. And the same thing happens with money, exactly the same, because money can also suffer that damage from the pact when you receive it just for yourself, to accumulate, to consume without purpose. When everything revolves around immediate pleasure, you're repeating the same pattern, different level, same root. Money used without direction. It's wasted energy. It's abundance that doesn't fulfill its purpose. Because money, just like sexual energy, it's not designed just for enjoyment. It's designed to influence, to build, to expand something bigger than yourself. When it's used that way, the flow continues. But when it's used only for oneself, the system shuts down. And this is where a law that few people want to accept comes in. If you turn what you receive into a loss, what you receive stops, not as a punishment, but as an adjustment. Because if that energy doesn't reach its destination, it feeds what it shouldn't. It gets diverted to what, in ancient terms, was called fallen forces, patterns of destruction, of chaos. And then something curious happens. People who start making money, but they lose it, they self-sabotage, they make bad decisions, they put themselves in situations that drag them down. They rise, but they fall even harder, as if something were dragging them down. From the outside, it seems like bad luck. But from the inside, it's energetic disorder. The same goes for sexual energy. They sell the idea that the more you release it without control, the freer you are. But the reality is different. When it's constantly dispersed, the effects start to appear. Weariness, emptiness, anxiety, a strange feeling of being stimulated, but drained at the same time. And little by little, motivation drops, clarity disappears, life loses its flavor. Not because you're missing something on the outside, but because you're losing strength from within. Even on a physical level, there's an explanation for this. Every time that energy is released without direction, the body enters a specific chemical cycle, pleasure spikes, followed by crashes, release, followed by emptiness. And if that keeps repeating, the system gets used to functioning at a minimum, to surviving, instead of expanding. And then the person wonders, why don't I have energy? Why am I not moving forward? Why can't I achieve stability without seeing exactly what is being drained? That which is needed to build it. However, there's something that's hard to admit. You work hard, you make an effort, but your money slips away just like water through your fingers. And the worst part is that it's not your fault. You just don't know how to focus your energy, how to make wealth find you, and stay. Here's the most direct solution. 30 days of Audible for free in the description. Audiobooks that awaken your power to manifest money, that show you how to turn your attention and your energy into real wealth. And that transforms scarcity into a constant flow, while others remain trapped in distractions. You are creating your own river of abundance. You just need to listen and apply. Nowadays, something is starting to become clear that many used to deny or simply ignored masturbation, the way it is usually practiced. It has a real impact on a person's energy. It's not neutral. And no, it's not just a moral issue. It's a matter of depletion. When there's constant use, impulsive, without direction, what happens is simple. There's a direct waste of sexual energy. And when there is also a release, the impact is greater. But be careful. It's not just about the physical act. It's about what it implies energetically. Because in the oldest teachings, this was never seen as something trivial. And the texts of the Kabbalah say it clearly. There is no deeper loss than the spilling of the sacred seed, Sarah Kodesh. The seed is not just anything. It is pure potential for life, millions of possibilities contained in a single act. It's not symbolic, it's literal. Now then, this is where everything changes depending on how it's used. If that energy goes to the right place, it's not lost. It transforms. The wise men explained it like this. When a couple is united with real commitment, they come together intimately. All that energy doesn't dissipate. It's invested. And when it's invested, it builds. Not only in the physical, but also in the unseen. It's exactly the same principle as money. If you spend it without awareness, it disappears. If you invest it well, it comes back multiplied. The same thing happens with sexual energy. When it's channeled within a solid relationship, it returns. But it returns as connection, strength, and stability. A real relationship isn't measured only by what you feel in the moment, but by what you build afterward? If after intimacy, there's more union, more clarity, more growth? That's where there's investment. And that investment starts to create a cycle because, according to this view, abundance in the home isn't a coincidence. It's built. And there's something interesting here. It's said that the economic blessing of the home goes through the woman. The man gives, the woman receives, she transforms, and gives it back multiplied. A circuit is created, a constant flow of giving, receiving, and expanding. But for that to work, there has to be direction, commitment. Because nobody invests just anywhere, not their money, not their energy. You don't invest in something you know won't pay off. However, if you've made it this far, stop for a second. This is about more than just watching a video. This is about facing parts of yourself that you've been avoiding for a long time. And even so, you stayed. That already says a lot about you, more than you think. So write in the comments. Today I stopped betraying myself. Don't do it for the algorithm. Do it as a promise to yourself. Like when you decide to stop letting yourself down quietly. Then, why do that with the most valuable thing you have? Sexual energy. It's not meant to be scattered senselessly. It's meant to build something that grows, which is why opening up to just anyone, without discernment, without direction, that's not freedom. Or it's an escape. And here, there's something that breaks many modern ideas. Today, people think that intimacy is a man's need, that the woman simply goes along with it. But the ancient teachings say just the opposite. The responsibility of holding that space falls on the man. Not through demands, but through commitment, through building. It's a conscious act, not an impulsive one. It's not about wanting to. It's about maintaining a bond that builds. And when that dynamic is understood, when each one takes their place, curious things start to happen. Relationships that were broken get rebuilt. Couples who didn't understand each other start to align. And almost as a side effect, the economy improves, not by magic, through consistency, because the system stops losing energy. Now let's get practical. What doesn't work? Wasting. Wasting sexual energy without purpose. Wasting money without direction. It's exactly the same mistake on two different levels. Start with something simple. Value your money. Every penny counts. Not because of the amount, but because of what it represents. It's your energy materialized. If you drop it, you pick it up. Because it's not just money. It's part of your ability to create in the world. Use it with intention. Invest. Contribute. Give. Not from scarcity, but from purpose, even when you allow yourself luxuries. Let them make sense. Let them enhance who you are. Let them help you give more later. That's not spending, that's strategy. Same with sexual energy. It's not about repressing it. It's about directing it. Or invest it where it can build something. In your partner, in a real connection, in something that generates more than it consumes. Sometimes that result is a child, and other times, no. But that doesn't mean there is no creation. According to these teachings, every well-directed encounter generates something more subtle, force, light, impact. Something that, even if it can't be seen, it influences.
Por eso no se trata solo de lo físico, se trata de lo que estás creando
that you use your energy, because in the end, it all comes down to one question. Are you investing or are you losing? Because there, in that answer, that's the difference between a life that expands and one that slowly drains away without you noticing.